Prepare yourself, guys. This is Chris with T3 Media.
Okay, great. What's next? Prepare yourself, guys. Chris with T3 Media's fan sharing, entertaining news, honest reviews, the latest in movies, TV, trailers, and more by talking through the media. Blah, blah, blah. This is the spoiler alert. Endings explained for Spider-Man Far From Home. Hey, I'm testing out the new setup. I'm going to be here live. I'm going to have some co-hosts eventually, so hopefully tomorrow we're going to have some friends of mine that are going to be coming over, and maybe we'll make a permanent thing. We're going to be doing some testing and stuff, but I'm testing out the new setup. So on this part of the stage is where my co-host will be standing here, or maybe I'll have a seat right there, and interacting with me. I'm over there. You can't see it because I can't switch because I'm the guy in the chair, but I'll be controlling everything, and you'll see me from time to time over there controlling all that you see here. Now, for those of you who have not seen it yet, you do not want to be spoiled, you need to stop right now because I am about to get into this ending. Now, I've already reviewed the movie, and after seeing it for the second time, I gotta say, yeah, it holds up. It is in my top 3. Where it ranks now, it's up there. I gotta think about this, but hands down, the best action-wise, right there up there with part 2 of the original Spider-Man, Sam Raimi Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2. Villains of Spider-Man, they're like, whether they're blue collar or white collar, whatever you want to call them, they're guys who they're playing. Just like the Vulture, and just like with Quentin Beck, they're guys that have been screwed over. And on both occasions by Iron Man, by Tony Stark. They're people who are employed by or contracted by Tony Stark, and they just, for one way or one reason or another have been screwed over. It's like the guy who has the hopes and dreams, everything was riding on this situation, and in both scenarios, Tony Stark found a way to piss them off. And I don't know, I think that's going to be an ongoing theme moving forward. Besides the enemies that Spider-Man creates, but the main villains that are probably going to be in part 1, part 2, and probably part 3, for some way or another, maybe it won't be a direct tie of Tony Stark, but a guy or a girl who has some way or another been screwed over. Or maybe this is the last time. Maybe this is the last thread like that. But Mysterio and Vulture seem to have that both in common. And that blew my mind on that ongoing theme. It's the first time that's been a constant with the villains in these Spider-Man movies, and maybe they'll continue that forward. Now let's get into what this video is really all about. The end credit scene. Now, everybody speculated about it. Everybody wanted it. But J.K. Simmons being recast as J. Jonah Jameson. Oh, my God. When I saw that on the screening, my advanced screening, you're in an advanced screening, so you're in a room full of comic book movie going or reading nerds who flipped out when that happened. When J. Jonah Jameson, J.K. Simmons, because we heard J. Jonah Jameson from the Bugles, he also knows what's going on. Spider-Man killed Quentin Beck. Now that whole setup with the end. Now, that made the roof blow out. Now, there were times where the crowd just started, going crazy, clapping and whatnot. At the very beginning with the Tony Stark tribute, a couple of times that Tony was mentioned, a couple of laughs here and there. Crowd, about 4 or 5 times the crowd clapped. The biggest eruption, though, obviously, was when J.K. Simmons was revealed. And why was J.K. Simmons? Why was the Daily Bugle revealed? Why? Because in the end of the movie, that's like he said, they will see what I want them to see. Even though his whole thing with the drones, using the drone technology and the illusion technology, that was already that it turns out he invented from the Civil War movie that they called BARF. Quentin Beck, even though his whole illusion thing was thrown away, he still was able to get one last illusion, one last recording out of the way, and tell the world, I'm here from this other dimension. He's still drumming up the whole he's from another parallel dimension thing. And Spider-Man, for some reason, betrayed me, and he's using these drones, and he's killing people, and he's gonna kill me too. So what am I gonna do with my dying breath? I'm gonna do what most heroes do. I'm gonna snitch, because that's what heroes do, right? And I'm gonna tell you who Spider-Man really is. It's Peter Parker. And that look on Spider, oh no, what the hell, you know? And I asked Joy after that big reveal. And then it goes into the whole, I know, now we know what Spider-Man is. So I guess Peter's not going to be working for the Daily Bugle. I guess no pictures. I guess we're moving on past that. We're not no internship for you, Peter. Sorry. That's gone. So I figured one or two things could happen. He could spend the whole third movie clearing his name. Maybe they get a scroll. I mean, the reason, maybe you get somebody to pretend to be him, while you can see Spider-Man and Peter Parker in the same place at the same time. But just like what Quentin Beck said at the end of it, they will see what I want them to see. It will not matter that you clear Peter's name or you put his secret identity back in place. Half of the world, 25%, 10%, it doesn't matter. We'll always believe it. Even if you have a Peter Parker and Spider-Man standing side by side with each other, it will not matter. People will still believe it. Or they won't take the chance, and his enemies will come after his family. Aunt May's got to go in with his protection now. Avenger protection. It's the only thing that makes sense. She has got to go into to protection now. That's the only thing that makes sense, right? So, part one, Aunt May figured out who he is. Part two, MJ figures out who he is. So, we're already going into a whole, like I said, you can get other bad guys, Chameleon, things like that. That's probably the only thing that makes sense. Now, I figured that you could have the Chameleon as the villain for part three. And thanks to Joy, I didn't realize that Ralphie from A Christmas Story was also helping. And that was the same guy who got yelled at on Iron Man Part 1. Like, Tony Stark was able to build one in a cave with scraps. It's like, I'm Ralphie. I'm not Tony Stark. But I didn't know that was him. That's awesome. Joy figured it out the second he saw his face. I was like, that's Ralphie. I didn't know that was him. I didn't know he was bald. But I feel that Mysterio is that whole team. They even saluted it to Mysterio. If Quentin Beck is dead, that I feel like that's fine. Maybe they can have Jake Gyllenhaal come back as an illusion. But I think the person... Now, it's funny. Remember what he said at the end to Edith. Is he dead? She didn't answer the question. Is this real? All illusions have been shut down. So he could be dead if they chose choose. Or he could have just passed out and they just kept him alive and he went to the hospital and he went to jail. If he goes to jail... he could keep the whole I'm from a parallel universe, don't believe what you see, this is I'm the this and that, I'm not that scientist that used to work for Tony Stark, I have his same DNA and all. The snap, that's why. Like, no, you lying, there is no parallel universe. How do you know? The only way is to round them all up and get one of them to confess. But I think I feel like the rest of the Mysterio team will go underground, and I feel Ralphie will become the new Quentin Beck. So I think it makes sense that Jake Gyllenhaal dies. And you can still bring him back with illusions. You can have him doing illusions, pretending to be Jake Gyllenhaal and Jake Gyllenhaal because you just put his skin on you, and you can just keep the illusion alive. But it's really Ralphie, pulling the strings, and it's him. Then it could be the lady. Then it could be one of the other. It could be any of those guys. All of them. All of them collectively could be Mysterio. I feel like that's what's going to happen with them. One of them may become probably the tall, skinny guy who wrote out the story. Well, no, I don't know. One of them could become the new. I feel like the chameleon technology will come from that. So I feel that the next villain, or maybe if there should be two villains for part 3, will be one of them should be, if not the main one, the chameleon. The Scorpion also needs to come back too. That should be real cool. I just don't know how to put that toothpaste back in the tube. Now that his identity has been revealed, you can do damage control, reveal the truth, and say, no, he's not Peter Parker. But then eventually, Spider-Man probably will reveal himself. Just like in the Spider-Verse, when he dies, people are going to find out it was him all along. Again, you lied to us again. So there's no point of, to me, really trying to lie about it anymore. They know. Just clear your name and just power through. The funny thing about this is now you got Flash having to struggle with admiring the person he hates. Realizing that the person he bullied and tormented could have kicked his ass anytime he chose. But he just sat back and enjoyed you praising him as Spider-Man. That's what's going to be real funny about this moving forward. Here's another speculation about how they can move forward with another villain. Now, we're going to get Venom 2. Then we can get Spider-Man 3. Maybe in Spider-Man 4, now that if Peter Parker is seen to be the bad guy, you want Tom Hardy and Tom Holland to cross paths? Well, now that everybody thinks that he murdered Mysterio and attacked London with those drones, who best to bring him down than your boy Venom? And while that's all going down, and now that it makes sense with instead of the slime getting on to Peter Parker, and then he figures that he is really Spider-Man and all that stuff. He already knows from day one. We don't even have to go that route anymore. He already knows. There's a bunch of things you can do with this now. I say just move forward. Just clear your name. You didn't murder anybody, but everybody now knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. It sucks because the only thing I don't like about it is the fact that we're not going to get him bouncing off of J.K. Simmons, working for him in the Bugle. The only way to do it really is to clear your name and do some trickery. But then the question will come up: how are you able to still get these pictures of Spider-Man? Well, when people thought I was him and he was I, we became friends. Maybe. Are you sure Quentin wasn't telling the truth on that one? And you really Spider-Man? Because this is it's too coincidental. This just opens too many. You might as well. So we might lose the whole Peter Parker working for the Daily Bugle thing. We might lose all of that. But this is still an exciting direction for it to go. So I say, let's keep it on this path. I feel like the Skrulls are going to have to protect Peter and help him out. It's the only way to fix all this. The only thing that makes sense to me. But hey, what do I know? Look, I've already given you a couple of theories on what the possibility with this technology and moving forward, Chameleon, and how to fix it with Venom. Tom Hardy probably coming in to take out this villain known as Spider-Man. The only person who can wall crawl and web swing. But if Venom, if Venom does come in to take out take out Peter Parker, and they eventually become friends, maybe that's when we get him to honor Spider-Man by wearing the spider thing. I feel like they'll meet, and then he'll mimic his powers a little bit. Maybe maybe Tom Holland, Peter Parker will wear the sludge for a little while. I don't know. But if there's a door, an opportunity that's been open, it's been open, bust wide open. The only thing I regret is that we aren't going to get him working at the Daily Bugle. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Maybe they'll figure out a way to fix it. But it'll be a lot of plot holes on that one. Let me know what you guys think. Now that the ending has been revealed, the movie is out. J.K. Simmons, the big moment in the movie. What do you think about this? Put in the box, comment, let me know. Let's keep talking about this. I want you guys to speculate with me on what could happen moving forward. How can we fix this? Can the toothpaste be put back into the tube? Let me know. Till next time, guys.